Pedro from A&P-REACTS, Justin from Sorcerer, and Pete from Ensiferum. The gang is back, and now we're back for a Halloween edition. Our favorite Halloween-themed songs.
Yes, we are.
What better way to celebrate Halloween is today? Today is Halloween, so we're here to talk about our favorite, or I think some of them will be our favorites, perhaps some of them less favorite of others, whatever. We put together the list, everybody voted, and this is our top 5. How excited are you guys to talk about Halloween-themed songs?
Well, actually, a little bit, yeah. Because the Halloween thing is not so huge over here in Finland. You know, you see a pumpkin here and there, but that's pretty much it. So this was actually a pretty new topic for me, in a way.
Yeah, I miss Halloween very much. It's not celebrated in Sweden either. It's starting to become like kind of like a trend where people go to parties and dress up. But yeah, just the whole concept of trick-or-treating, it's lost on the Swedes, unfortunately.
Yes,
I was thinking, before we narrow it down to the Halloween-themed songs, I was thinking, are we going to do Halloween-themed songs or horror-themed songs? Because if it's in the horror genre, there would be so many songs to pick from. It would be very difficult for us to narrow down to the top 5 that we could all agree on. So that's why I went with specifically Halloween-themed songs, because the horror theme is just, I mean, you could consider Iron Maiden Fear of the Dark as a horror-themed song, and like that many others, it would be almost impossible to narrow it down to a top 5. So I thought Halloween-themed was a little bit better.
Yeah, it was difficult actually to pick a Halloween theme. The songs was like you're listening back. Yeah, I had a hard time with it actually. I was like, shit. Which songs are like Halloween themed? Like I had to go back and kind of like listen to a few. So
for me, the top 2, and we'll start the list soon. But for me, the top 2 were no brainers, and then everything after that, I had to dig deep into the vault.
Yeah, same here too. Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, let's start with our number 5 song. This song was picked by 2 people, by myself and by Pete, and that is Fastway with Trick or Treat. Yeah. Pete, what's your thoughts on this track?
I liked it. It was awesome. It was actually the first time I heard it just a couple of days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think that band has kind of like passed me by, just like Helloween had Justin.
I love how he's throwing you under the bus like right away.
Yeah, that's fine. Well,
you just can't hear all the bands in the world. It's just really difficult, you know.
It is. For me, Trick or Treat, I'm not a huge Fastway fan. I mean, I would not even call myself a fan of the band at all. But I really like that song. And it's a song that every time I listen to that song, I think of the movie Trick or Treat. So it's just, for me, Halloween, trick-or-treating, the movie, the song, it's just kind of everything kind of just goes together, you know?
Yeah. It's a great track. I mean, it was also new for me, and I actually really enjoyed the track. It was, I love the cliche campy horror music video where he's zapping people with the guitar, and it's just, it's basically, it sums up the premise of Halloween really and the fun of it. So yeah, and the song is really cool. I like the.
It has all the cheese in it, you know. It's very cheesy.
It's got even the electric drums in the beginning, but he's playing on an acoustic drum set in the video.
Yeah.
It's like, gung. You can hear that. It's like one of those like roll-in, like one of those early roll-in drum kits.
Yeah, that's the trick in the song.
Yeah, there's the trick.
That's your trick. Yeah, I like the track. Like I said, for me, not necessarily, the band doesn't really do much for me personally, but that song is fun. And when I think of Halloween and when I think of trick-or-treating, it's a fun experience. You know what I mean? Like you dress up, you know, you're supposed to go scaring people into giving you candy, that kind of stuff. It's fun. And that song kind of represents that fun aspect of that day. Even the video, like you said, it's very cheesy. It has all of those fun parameters in it. And that's one of the reasons why I picked it in my top 5, as Pete did.
Yeah.
You, Justin, you not so much.
No, yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. At number 4, Misfits with Helloween.
Yeah.
I think Justin, you had this one ranked pretty high. I think it was one out of the 3 of us. You're the one that had it ranked the highest.
I had it at number 2, I believe.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And it's, yeah, I mean, here we go again with a band that kind of personifies Helloween. They were a horror punk band, the Misfits. They still are. Not as good as they were, to be brutally honest. But, that song, Helloween, it's just, I love the lyrics, candy apples and razor blades. That was what when we were growing up and going trick-or-treating, that was what, there was always like the rumors of kids getting, razor blades and apples and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was just when I listen to that song, it's just a fond reminder of Helloween's past. And like, even though it's, it would be a shame if somebody got a razor blade in their mouth, and they were always, rumors, but it's something that you heard every year. And I think that song's just fun as well. It's one of the Misfits' best songs, to be honest.
I think it's more of an urban legend. I don't think it. Maybe it happened, or I don't know. But I'm with you. I've always heard about that story, and specifically when my son was of age of going out and trick or treating. You always hear about like that whole thing. But I think it's more of an urban legend, and I think they just played off of that urban legend in that song.
So that's why the parents checked the candy.
Just a good reason to take the best ones out, and eat it by themselves.
Yeah, I used to. I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I used to do when my son used to come home is grab the bag and say, "Hey, I have to check it for razor blades or needles or anything like that," and then I would always take my favorite ones out of the way for myself.
Yeah, I was just like, you can take the Snickers, just leave the Reese's peanut butter cups, please. They're the best ones.
Oh, I don't like peanut butter.
Oh, I love it.
I don't like it. Pete, what are your thoughts on Misfits with Helloween at number 4?
I really liked the track. It was good. It was very spot on. Not too much, extra parts. It's like 2 minutes something. Very good punk rock song. I dig it.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Yeah. No bullshit. We're gonna tell you what we want, and that's it.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of like their calling card, if you will, of the Misfits. I don't think they were the kind of band that put a lot of flourishes into their music. It's pretty much what you see is what you get, and we're gonna give it to you fast and straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were always like, referring to like B movies and horror movies in general. So I think the Misfits, if we were to do a horror themed theme, with these lists, I would rank quite a few Misfits songs. I had like Return of the Fly, Vampira, stuff like that. So I mean, they're just into the horror thing, and I love it.
Yeah, they're part of that scene. They became part of the culture almost, if you will. At number 3, a band that I absolutely love, Typo Negative, All Hallows Eve. This is a great track.
It's a really good track, and I think Peter Steele just he paved the way for a lot of bands in that genre. Like there's a lot of people that came after Typo, like 69 Eyes, him, and stuff like the low voice and like the depressive kind of rock or metal, I guess you would say, goth rock. But Pete Steele is just what a voice. And the song is great.
I agree with you. The guy has the kind of voice that he would make a nun get wet. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, man, his voice is. I remember the first time I heard a Typo Negative song, I couldn't believe that was humanly possible to sound like that. It blew me away. And All Hallows Eve, it has such a dark atmosphere to it. Dark sound that really plays really well off of his vocals. His vocal performance is spot on that track, and it's a track that has a moving atmosphere to it. As the song progresses, it's almost like you can see a mist in the air as you're listening to that song. That song has depth If you know what I mean. It's not like you're just listening to it. You can almost see it. It has a depth to it that makes that track absolutely incredible. Pete, what are your thoughts on Typo Negative?
Very much the same as you two, and the song is really good. It carries itself very nicely, even though it's over 8 minutes long. You know, you kind of don't notice the length of the song when you're listening to that one. So that's also one good sign of a good song. And the atmosphere in it is very dark. Also a little bit like very romantic in that kind of way, you know. You can easily listen to that one after a hard breakup and cry your tears while you're eating a bucket of ice cream.
I love that.
You talk from personal experience.
And,
he's talking about his personal experiences right now.
Not so much. I was more drinking my sorrows away type of guy than going for a bucket of ice cream.
Cool.
But yeah, and if there's any nuns watching this one, what do you girls think about Peter Steele's voice? Like what Pedro said, can make it nun.
I think my statement is accurate, man. I think if any nuns are listening to Typo Negative, I think they're dripping. Like the guy's voice is just incredible.
Yeah.
And not to mention like Peter Steele as well. He's a great bass player. You know,
but I think that kind of gets a little bit forgotten because of how good he is and with his voice and how impactful his voice is. When you think of him, you never think of him as a bass. At least I don't, and I don't think a lot of people do. I think people always think of him as the great voice of Typo Negative. They don't necessarily think of him as the bass player.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I point the bass out, even though like you see all the live pictures and videos, you know, he's playing the bass, but I kind of ignored the instrument.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody actually does. Nobody wants to hear bass solos, so.
This is coming from the bass player who's a little bit pissed off about it.
Yeah. All right. Next song.
Like, you know, I had this idea for a bass solo for the next Sorcerer album, but you know, I didn't get any traction.
No, it would be fun to do a solo, but we'll see. We're writing, but we'll see.
Wow, you guys are already writing. You just released a new album this year.
Yeah, but you don't stop the momentum. You know, you have to
that's
keep.
True.
And
that's
because
true.
of everything, so. But we'll see.
I'm still waiting for the Ensiferum acoustic album to come out at some point in time.
Yeah, it's still a lot of work in progress on that side.
All right, at number 2, Pete, get ready for this one because I think we really need to put Justin through the ringer here. At number 2, Helloween with Helloween.
Yeah,
I think you should take this one because I'm still pissed off at the text message that I got this morning.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but this song is epic. You know, we're clocking. I think it's over 10 minutes, right?
It's over 15 minutes, by the way.
Holy shit! Yeah, already forgot that one. I was supposed to listen to it today, but I totally forgot. But it's a fucking good track, and Michael Kiska's voice is also unbelievable. This goes like really high, like top 5 songs from Helloween, like all time in my books.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
it's definitely in the top 5 songs of Helloween of all time. When you look at all of their discography, this song has to be in the top 5. And no surprise that it's in top 2 because both me and you, Pete, we picked it at number 2. But I was extremely shocked when I look at Justin's list, and this song was nowhere to be found. I looked at the back of the list. I looked at the front of the list. I even shook the list, and I was like, no Helloween on this list?
Yeah, and then you got the message this morning what said, I have never heard Helloween before today.
I woke up, sorry, Justin, I have to tell the story. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning with my phone buzzing, And I look at it, and it's Justin saying, I've never heard of Helloween. I'm going to play it now. And I was like, am I dreaming? No, I can't be dreaming. If anything, this is a nightmare because there's no way this could be a dream. Do I even reply to this? Because if I reply to this, I can't go back to sleep because now I'm jacked. I was like, I'm ready to punch somebody. And it's like, what the hell's going on? So I went back to sleep, and then I woke up, I took a shower, I cooled off, and then I said, what the fuck? It took me like 3 hours to get to the point of what the fuck,
To cool down, to simmer down.
Yeah, I was a little more simmered down.
That's a very long cooling down process, what you have.
I must have really enraged him. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, I never got into Helloween. I wasn't really big on power metal when I was growing up. I liked the harder stuff. I liked death metal and stuff. And I thought power metal was a bit cheesy when I was growing up. Like, it was just like, I didn't really like the whole, like, I love Maiden, but like once singers started going like way over those octaves and stuff like that, it kind of got a bit annoying for me when I was listening to it. And yeah, Helloween was just one of those bands that kind of, yeah, I don't know, just never hit me. So, and I know they've got some good songs and stuff like that. And
some good songs. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't actually given them an honest chance, to be honest, because I never really got into them. But I'll tell you, just to make it good with you, I'll go through their discography and I will rank them and send you the rankings. But
I don't think you're going to be disappointed though, because musically they're incredible, like just an incredible band. Like within that genre, it's going to be very hard to find better bands. And then as far as vocals are concerned, Pete already said everything. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. But the older stuff is obviously better. When you get more to the modern stuff, to me, the quality tends to dip a little bit. The older you go, the better off you are.
I mean, Kiske has a fantastic voice. I've heard Kiske sing on other projects as well. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's not the fact. I was more worried like that it was going to be like a band that would annoy me, and I just never got into them, so I just never listened to it. So I listened to Helloween today for the first time ever.
Wow. So what's your take now that you heard the song?
Yeah, I mean, it was extremely progressive, to be honest with you, and that's why I was kind of shocked that you yourself enjoyed it, because you also got a thing about progressive music a little bit.
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, and I was kind of shocked. I was like, okay, this is quite progressive, actually. It's like a progressive power metal. Lots of like, I heard the bass. There was like mini bass solos and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. So the song was enjoyable. So it opened my eyes a bit more. And I will listen to the band. But overall, the song was good.
I feel like I have to myself now about the progressive thing. It's not that I don't like prog metal. I just don't like certain bands because I feel like they're trying to flex their musical muscle. Like, look at what we can do. We can do all of this, and I kind of get lost in it. If certain songs, in my opinion, take you too much to digest the track, then it takes away from the fun that I want, which is to listen to the song and get to the point and enjoy the fun of listening to the track. If I want to listen to, I don't know, a space astronaut or physician or whatever, give me a speech about astrodynamics or time traveling, then I'll do that. But I want my music not necessarily to be as convoluted. Sometimes I think it's overworked.
Well, yeah, that's the kind of the thing. I think a lot of progressive music in itself is, it's awesome. I love a lot of the prog bands from like the early 70s and stuff like that. But like I said, that was a different thing. They were like trying to tell stories and landscapes. The music wasn't overly complicated. It was more just kind of what can you say, like just a pompous way to present it. Like it has to be big productions. Like if you look at Emerson, Lake and Palmer back in the day, they had like I don't know how many semi trucks and taking their gear, and they had like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They always like made things larger than life, and it was just unnecessary. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with you on a lot of like the modern prog stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, like it just seems like you're overcompensating. Do you know what I mean? Like Something to be innovative and to sound different. You don't have to overcomplicate necessarily.
I think a really good example of this, like I like the band Dream Theater. They sound good and they're great musicians and stuff like that. But one thing that I love about bands is like the live show. And with with Dream Theater, there's nothing happening on stage. Everybody's stationary and just like fully concentrated on their instruments, looking up at the audience every now and again. Maybe Jordan Rudess is like spinning around with his keyboard, but other than that, I mean, it's quite,
that
it was just a weird experience. Like I was expecting like some big stuff to happen, but it was just kind of like, all right, so where's the head banging, the whole like pumping the audience up, and sometimes that's lacking.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you mentioned that, well, actually, Pete mentioned before Typo Negative with All Hallows Eve being a long song, but you kind of not feeling the length of the song. This one is double the length of that song, but I also don't feel like you really notice the length of the song when you're listening to it. The track is so well constructed, it's so well put together that it's 15 minutes, but it could have easily been 10 minutes, 8 minutes. Like I'm not necessarily looking at the clock. That's what I mean when I'm listening to it.
When I listened to it this morning, it was like there was a lot happening, so I'm gonna have to go back and really pick it apart. There was lots of stuff happening. Yeah. So great song though.
And at number one, this was unanimous. Unanimous at number one, King Diamond, Helloween.
Yes.
Since we've been doing these lists, I think this is the first time. No, it's not the first time. Also, when we did the King Diamond list, Abigail was unanimously number one. So there's definitely a King Diamond feel here in the air. Like we're all on the same wavelength when it comes to King Diamond. So, Pete, since you're wearing the King Diamond T-shirt, Helloween by King Diamond.
It's a freaking good song.
I can't get over. Is it the best song in Fiddle Portrait?
I would say it's most likely the most straightforward song on that album. It's no tricks or treats in this song. It's like full on, get to the point. Kind of like describe as a easy song to listen and stuff. So it hits you good. It hits you hard, and I love it.
Justin, what are your thoughts?
I mean, when you're talking about horror inspired music, I think the person that delivers on that front, hands down, is King Diamond. His albums are consistent and just spot on when it comes to like just the horror theme. He's brilliant at painting a picture in the story, and this record and this track is just, it's not only a great track, but it's a fun track as well. It's one that you go back and listen to often, and I just love it. It captures the mood, it captures what King Diamond's about. It's just spot on all fronts. The musicianship's brilliant. King is just kicking ass and taking names, and is it the best song on the album? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's straightforward, like Pete said, but I like, if I was going to pick one track off that album, I like Karen. That's that for me is my favorite track on that album. It's got a great groove to it. But Helloween is just
that song is absolutely epic. And not to take anything away from Helloween, but that song, I hadn't heard the album the full album in a long time until we were getting ready to do our top 5 King Diamond album list. And when I was listening to Fatal Portrait and it got to that song, I was like, oh shit, I forgot how good this song was. And then I was like, okay, this has got to go back into my playlist like immediately. So that song is Portrait as well. That one is one of my favorites on that album. But that album is incredible front to back.
Yeah, of course it is. It's just a brilliant. Actually, fun fact about Karen. I can't remember which gig I was flying to, but I kind of like dozed off on the plane, and I had Karen on a playlist. And when he comes in with that scream at the beginning, And like it's just him, like it's like I had it so high in my headphones, and it scared the shit out of me. It was got somebody behind me screaming, so I spilt my beer everywhere, and
Yeah, the
so,
sound you make when you step on a Lego.
yeah, exactly, or murder blocks as we call them.
Yeah, I picked this. Well, we all picked this one as number one. For me, this was the song that introduced me to King Diamond. A friend of mine gave me a mixtape back in the day, and on side A, following Celtic Frost cover of Mexican Radio. After that was this song by King Diamond, and I was like, first I was like, is that a dude or is that a woman? That was one of the first things that I thought back in the day when I heard this track. And I was absolutely compelled to listen to everything King Diamond has ever done from that point on. So that song is the one that introduced me to him, the one that then followed up by introducing me to the album. I bought the CD immediately. And then, I had to get my hands on everything Merciful Fate King Diamond from that point on. So that song has a huge impact for me because it's that the gates opened with that track. The simplicity of the track, the theme of the song, and when he says every night for me is Halloween, like those lines, like it's just so iconic. It's to the point that since I've moved to North America, every Halloween I play that song on loop as I'm giving out candies. I don't even put any other track. I just put that one on loop. I have a little boom box. I put it at the door. It's on loop, and that's the song that I use in order for me to give out candy.
That's great.
Good choice.
Yeah, it's my little Halloween special theme, if you will. I just have to play that song. I just love the way it sounds, how it feels, like everything about that track. When I think of this time of the year, when I think of Halloween, King Diamond, I mean, not just because of that track, but when I think of Halloween, and Justin, you touched on this, I don't think there's one artist that comes to mind. Like if I told you Halloween, tell me one artist that comes to mind. King Diamond to me is like the one that immediately pops into my mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few like, but not within the metal genre. Like, I mean, Alice Cooper is also a really good, Halloween. But yeah, King Diamond is just he just does it so well, And we still haven't heard about the Netflix series. We're waiting.
I'm still waiting. His representatives haven't gotten back to me, so we're waiting for that. We would like some royalties or at least a cameo.
Yeah, we should probably just mail King directly and be like, hey man, we got an idea.
Yeah, maybe we should just pitch it to him. Hey, you guys are all on the same label. Just talk to somebody.
Yeah. Let's send out a mail to Slagle.
Yeah. Just get the ball rolling. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'll keep on calling him until he picks up.
Or until he blocks you.
Yeah, then I'll just pick the next one in line, There's a lot of phone numbers in that record label.
Yeah, you could just leave messages. Hey, Pete again. Just wondering if you got my
previous 100,000 messages,
Yeah. Really want to do this.
What's that pumpkin that you have there?
This is actually the special edition of the Helloween vinyl.
That's a vinyl?
That is a vinyl.
Holy shit.
Yeah. This is very cool. I saw it and I'm like, I gotta get this one.
Does it just have that one track? That's it?
It has actually 2. Helloween on the other side, and the other one is Sleepless Nights.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wow. I can't believe that's a vinyl. Was that a limited edition?
It is. It's a holiday edition Helloween. Special one. And the text is so small on this one that I can't actually read it in this dark light, so I can't see.
Because I think if it's is it still available for ordering?
Yeah.
Is it still available to order now, or is it done?
I think it should be still available. Yeah.
I gotta get myself one of those. That looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could play that on Halloween.
Yeah, I have a vinyl player, so I can definitely play that on Halloween. Wow, how cool is that?
Absolutely.
Marketing at its best.
Halloween will be worn out on the one side, and Sleepless Nights will be never
Brand
played.
new.
Yeah.
The only issue with playing the vinyl is that I can't put it on loop. You know, it's not like the CD where you can just press repeat and the damn thing just keeps playing the same song over and over again. With the vinyl, now you're forcing me to get up and move the needle every so often. So now you're asking me to actually exercise.
Wasn't there something that you could use? I mean, there wasn't there a setting on old vinyl players, like when it went up and back, if you like
there was,
it would play again.
There was back in the days, yeah, the very old ones, yeah.
Because I think my dad had one of those, because I used to listen to the Ramones and stuff, and I loved the one side of Rocket to Russia with the Cretan Hop, and I used to love that track, but it was always at the beginning, so I wanted to hear it all the time. So I'd play the one side, and it would.
Yeah, I don't think the new vinyls, the new players do that. I know mine doesn't do that now. But back in the day, the one I had when I was growing up, or my brother had actually, I should say, it had that option in it. You could set that as one of the settings on the side. There was a little knob for it that you could set it that way. So instead of just popping out and coming all the way back out, it would pop up and go back into the first track and start playing it all over again.
Yeah.
Damn shame. They don't have those.
Yeah. It is. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Enjoy your Halloween. Well, I guess you guys are not doing any trick-or-treating. You guys don't do that in that part of the world, but enjoy it anyways.
Yeah, I'll just go and buy my candy.
Chicken beer.
Yeah, buy your own candy is not a bad idea. Get some Phaser chocolate.
Yeah, I do.
Some Tupla. There you go.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of the pile of chocolate what I have, and you can be jealous.
Man, I missed those chocolates. But yeah, guys, enjoy Halloween. You know, stay safe out there. Drink some beer, have some chocolate, listen to some King Diamond, and if you're gonna trick or treat, just make sure you trick.
Yeah,
sure. You too.
Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, guys.